We're speaking to Oropouche East MP and Shadow Minister of Housing, Works and Transport and National Security, Dr. Ruda Munilal. Also former government minister and deputy political leader of Hope, Karen Nunes Teixeira, and president of the Scrap Iron Dealers Association, Mr. Alan Ferguson. Don't forget, of course, Vitamin XL. Vitamin XL D3 provides the most natural and absorbable form of vitamin D, which promotes whole body health, which is crucial for cellular health, especially regarding the cells of the immune system. So every cell in your body needs vitamin D to function properly. So pick up your bottle of Vitamin XL D3. Get yours today. We'll be right back to kickstart things right here on The Observer.
ABC Supermarket. Baila! This is Iowa George. Leave a road and environs. Put food on your table. ABC is affordable. Put food on your table. ABC. They have the best price with a wide range of snacks and sweets. Meat Fridays. Market Saturday. Big specials on alcohol. Located at number 40 Barona River. ABC Supermarket. Put food on your table. ABC is affordable. Put food on your table. And don't forget, we have free delivery. We have real good prices, boy.
Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year from the staff and management of ABC Supermarket. Woo!
Mayaro Family Medicine provides a unique pharmacy experience for your entire family. We carry your favorite brands of vitamins, supplements, personal care needs, and much more, as well as professional prescription services. Our staff is well trained and knowledgeable to answer all your health questions. We're located at number 78 Cragnich Village, Princestown. Open Monday to Saturday, 8:30 a.m. to 7 p.m. and 8:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. Sundays and public holidays. And number 4 Mayaro Junction, Mayaro. Open 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday to Saturday and 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Sundays and public holidays. For our Princestown location, call 655-0030 for 003. For Mayaro branch, call 630-4312 and orders via WhatsApp 326-6616. Mayaro Family Medicine. Cure, compassion, care. When you say TNT's construction boss, then there's only one company, Lacroix Construction Services Limited, specializing in general construction, industrial maintenance, manpower resource rental, excavators, bulldozers, dump trucks, lighting systems, and everything for your project. We have affordable prices. Call now 267-0000 or 431-0012. Lacroix.
Oh gosh, this place hot and the AC in this car not working. It's like I'm driving a damn sauna.
Check Ryan Air. Ryan Air is ranked among the best in TNT for auto air conditioning service and models 828. Or visit them at number 41 Kane Farm Road, Tacarigua, or email ryanairac@gmail.com. For prompt and efficient service, look no further than Ryan Air. The
The Excel brand delivers quality service.
I would recommend Omega Excel to everyone.
Take care of yourself, take care of your health with Omega Excel.
If Omega Excel works for me, it will work for you.
Over a period of time, I started feeling stronger in my knee where I could add more pressure.
Looking for top quality and affordable hardware supplies? Then look no further than Midland Hardware, number 97 Eastern Main Road, Arouca. We stock a wide range of tools, water tanks, blocks, lumber, steel, and everything you need for your home and business project. Check out our new display of steel windows and assorted designs of metal curtain rods. Midland also stockpiles sand, gravel, topsoil, and more. We have a variety of kitchen faucets, face basins, and toilet sets, bathroom mat sets, all garden tools, hand tools, generators, power washers, and water pumps. Customers can make payments via links, credit card, online payment, and cash on delivery. WhatsApp 327-7761 for free quotations, or give us a call at 646-2144. Open every day, Sunday to Sunday, from 8 a.m. From foundation to finish, it's all at Midlands. All right, we are back. Thank you so much indeed, Master Control. We'll take a quick break and be right back. We just want to finalize something. Please bear with us. Mayaro Family Medicine provides a unique pharmacy experience for your entire family. We carry your favorite brands of vitamins, supplements, personal care needs, and much more, as well as professional prescription services. Our staff is well trained and knowledgeable to answer all your health questions. We're located at number 78 Cragnage Village, Princestown. Open Monday to Saturday, 8:30 a.m. to 7 p.m. and 8:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. Sundays and public holidays. And number 4 Mayaro Junction, Mayaro, 8 a.m. to 55-0030. For online orders via WhatsApp 380-6003. For Mayaro branch, call 630-4312. And orders via WhatsApp 326-6616. Mayaro Family Medicine. Cure, compassion, care. When you say TNT's construction boss, then there's only one company, Lacroix Construction Services Limited, specializing in general construction, industrial maintenance, manpower resources, transportation and lifting, and equipment rental, excavators, bulldozers, dump trucks. Like have affordable 310012. Lacroix Construction Services Limited, TNT's construction boss.
Oh gosh, this place hot and the air a damn sauna.
Check Ryanair. Ryanair is ranked among the best in TNT for auto air conditioning service. They specialize in repairing and servicing all makes and models of vehicles and heavy equipment. They also stock a wide. Visit them at number 41 Kane Farm Road, Tacarigua, or email ryanairac@gmail.com. For prompt and efficient service, look no further than Ryanair.
The Excel brand delivers quality service.
I would recommend Omega Excel to everyone.
Take care of yourself, take care of your health with Omega Excel.
If Omega Excel works for me, it will work for you.
Over a period of time, I started feeling stronger in my knee where I could add more pressure.
Looking for top quality and affordable hardware supplies? Then look no further than Midland Hardware, number 97 Eastern Main Road, Arouca. We stock a wide range of tools, water tanks, blocks, lumber, steel, and everything you need for your home and business project. Check out our new display of steel windows and assorted designs of metal curtain rods. Midland also stockpiles sand, gravel, topsoil, and more. We have a variety of kitchen faucets, face basins, and toilet sets, bathroom mat sets, all garden tools, hand tools, generators, power washers, and water pumps. Customers can make payments via links, credit card, online payment, and cash on delivery. WhatsApp 327-7761 for free quotation, or give us a call at 646-2144. Open every day, Sunday to Sunday from 8 a.m. From foundation to finish, it's all at Midlands.
Oh gosh, this place hot and the AC in this car not working. It's like a driving a damn sauna.
Check Ryan Air. Ryan Air is ranked among the best in TNT for auto air conditioning service. They specialize in repairing and servicing all makes and models of vehicles and heavy equipment. They also stock a wide range of parts. Give them a call at 640-5828 or visit them at number 41 Kane Farm Road, Tacarigua. No further than Ryan Air.
The Excel brand.
Yes. Thank you so much. No. All right, folks, we are back. Thank you so much, Master Control. A little technical glitch, but again, we have the best people behind the scenes. Joining us is a man who is no stranger, of course, to the Observer. I want to thank him and welcome him once again for taking time out of his busy schedule. Oropuch MP and Shadow Minister of Housing, Works and Transport and National Security, Dr. Rudal Munilal. Pleasant good evening to you, Doctor.
Good evening, Mikey, and to all those, and so much for your kind invitation to be on your show.
Always a pleasure to have you on. Always insightful and always giving us that clarity that we seem to lack when it comes to mainstream media and what's coming out of the administration.
Thank you so much.
You made it quite clear recently that the country is ungovernable under the current administration, and you said that critical institutions have collapsed. Please expand on that.
Well, as I've said in the last press conference, I believe it was, that this country today is ungovernable. The government has lost control of the critical sectors, particularly security, poverty, social development, housing, education, health, and so on. The country, this has happened because of the weight of corruption, examples of this. But I think the most critical example now is that the country has collapsed in terms of managing security and criminality and so on, where I think the government has just given up, and we are seeing every day.
Upon hearing this, that we have gone so far that anyone taking over the reins would have it so difficult and challenging. There's no magic wand to put things in place. But the history of all of this did not take place overnight. I mean, you have a prime minister who made it clear in opposition that he sent the now national security minister to Fairfax County in Virginia. And I keep bringing that up because we were told as citizens that coming into government, they had done their homework. They knew exactly what had to be done, what needed to be implemented. There was so much legislation when they came in, of course. We were told that they know where the gangsters are sleeping, if they order a center breast with fries, which woman they're with. We were told all of that. But today, when we see news reports about people mowing their grass, and they're being held up in their yard while exercising and taking away their brush cutter and lawnmower, we ask then just how much more or how further can we go with this issue?
Well, it is as dastardly as you describe. They had all the answers while in opposition because they were in the business of propaganda. I've always said that the PNM is really a grade A political party as far as it relates to propaganda. And they convinced some people, I guess, that they had the solutions. And when they arrived in government, they were hopeless. And part of it has to do that they lack human capital, they lack capacity, they lack competence, they lack efficiency. So you have a cabinet that, by and large, I mean, it's difficult to name one outstanding high-performance minister. You look at, I mean, it's just incompetence down the line. And Keith Rowley is, you know, has always been described as lazy, as visionless, as, you know, I coined a term to describe him. He's not just arrogant, he's ignorant. And, you know, that has defined his tenure in office. And they cannot solve any problem that this country faces. Corruption. Meanwhile, we We wish everybody Happy New Year and so on. Really, nothing will change in the new year. You will continue to get the situation of high crime, of poverty, of joblessness, and so on, because they are hopeless.
Yeah, I want you to stress on that issue as far as 2024. I mean, going into the new year, as we usher in a brand new year, and we already see the figures here that are totally ridiculous as far as the crime figures. With no plan, with no sense of understanding how the criminals are working, the former commissioner of police, Mr. Jacob, made it quite clear that he's never interacted with this different style or different sort of criminal, which seems not to care, which seems not to have any sort of compassion for those victims that are out there. And as we move into a brand new year, what can we expect as citizens?
Well, I mean, regrettably, we have to expect that the situation will get worse. But coming now back to an earlier point you made, Mikey, is that, listen, once you have competent men and women, you have clear policy, you have what I call political drivers, persons who can drive policy to action. You can address this situation. Clearly, we cannot change the situation overnight, the problems with the economy in particular. You can't change that overnight, but surely within 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, you should see progress in reducing crime. You should see progress in creating jobs. You should see progress, in dealing with poverty. Putting some improvements in health in particular. You should see improvements within a year under UNC administration. I can say that with confidence because we have the competence. Managing a country requires competence. And if you don't have competence, then I'm sorry, every system, every institution will collapse.
Yeah, even when you look at the fact that we've seen news reports where individuals have been robbed by people in police uniform or what have you, and you said that you called on National Security Minister Fitzgerald Hines to conduct an audit of the various arms of law enforcement, as there's a need to evaluate the procurement as well of uniforms and the companies that supply them, and the revision of policy and laws. One would think that this would be somewhat, quite understandable that anybody dealing with this situation that we currently have in this country would make sure that there's no stone unturned and to deal with all of these factors. Why does it seem as though there's a sort of a dragging feet,
But as I said, you're dealing with Fitzgerald Hines who, when half the time he's asleep and the next half of the time he's half awake. And even when he's awake, his mind is asleep. So, he have been told, I think the public relations persons around the government have told him to remain quiet and hide. And then he may appear that he's doing a good job if he hides. So I think that is his strategy, is just hiding from the problem. A Minister of National Security ought to be proactive, ought to be on the front line, ought to be, working by the hour almost with the law enforcement community to ensure that they have the resources, the equipment, and so on. I tell people the truth. The police contact some of us in opposition to help them to buy printers and help them to buy ink and paper and pen and so on. That's where we have reached. And the government, as I say, is a bystander to the crisis that we face. This is why I have said before, Mikey, that the PNM is the opposition in waiting. They are just waiting to demit office as soon as the general elections is called.
Yeah. And I want to touch on the issue of cybersecurity.
Sure.
There are reports, of course, from the TSTT since the company's mega cyber attack in October. There's been a deafening silence. Read today where the former, I believe, Lisa Agard is pursuing legal action, perhaps wrongful dismissal. All of that now has been tied up. And again, the minds of these criminal minds are evolving, and they're looking for anything that is vulnerable that they can take full advantage of.
What has happened is I have called and I've indicated that we must establish a cybersecurity national center that brings together a multi-departmental task force to work across law enforcement, including working with the private sector, with academics, university experts, and so on, to get our hands on this problem of cybercrime and cybersecurity. It is a very sophisticated and relatively new feature of international crime. It is not, narco trafficking, human trafficking, and so on, and drugs and so on that we knew about for decades. This is a new feature of transnational crime. To deal with it, prevent cyber attacks and so on, but also when it happens, so that we can respond in real time to ensure that data that can be used by criminal elements and so on don't get in their hands. And I have called for the establishment of a cybersecurity national agency, the English model, which has been in place since 2007.
Yeah. But one would also think to expand on that and call in, of course, the financial institutions, all the stakeholders, because, I mean, identity theft is very easy to come about, but it's difficult when you have to repair all the damage that has been done by criminals who would have taken your identity and perhaps run up your credit and all of that. You know,
and this day and age, Mikey, don't forget that persons can hack into systems and take security information.
Right.
Information concerning your security systems, your alarms on your house, your alarm and security systems at the place of work and so on. They can take that, and then that makes for easy robbery and home invasion and so on.
Yeah, and compounded with the fact that we don't know where this information is on the dark web. And I'm sure that in some time in the near future, you're going to hear reports about that. And how does the government intend to deal with it when individuals are saying, listen, my grandmother's pension, whatever came through the system has affected us as consumers and citizens. What is in place to deal with this when it arises?
Sure. And this is why we need to have an extra effort in restructuring national security to deal with cybercrime, which will be with us for a long time to come, because whether we like it or not, we will live in a digital future in which, you know, we will function in an environment where everything around us, our home, our place of work, our recreation, everything will be determined by digital technology. So therefore, cybersecurity is really a threat for our lifetime and the lifetimes to come. And this is why I've asked for special institutional development as it relates to this particular breed of international and transnational crime.
Yeah, and one would think that they would really put something in place. So far, we've gotten no update on Anthony Michael Smith. And you spoke about this in length, as far as no update on this convicted human trafficker who went missing before his trial, somewhere around September 24th.
And that, Mikey, is rooted in certain facts, in that the Ministry of National Security procured equipment that was defective, equipment that were inferior. So they procure inferior ankle bracelets, electronic monitoring devices that were inferior. It means that your pet poodle or pet cat or something could bite it off. And then, you know, you can roam around the place and flee, as this particular individual who is now convicted has fled, not just the law enforcement, but possibly the jurisdiction as well. Because the government of this country, national security in particular, procured equipment that was inferior and defective.
Looking at what you spoke about as far as wastage and corruption, Eureka Chairman Noel Garcia made it quite clear that Skinner Park, of course in San Fernando, I want to say good evening to the people in San Fernando, because they now have an international center which is designed for a blend of cultural and sporting activities, but not intended for international games. And you're saying for a bill of $147 million.
Sure.
Did we get value for our money?
Well, I mean, we have a field in Skinner Park now that has to be used for fets and for small goal. I think it's essentially small goal. They can play there because the field has been moved and changed. They spent $147 million plus there. They made the field smaller, and Skinner Park, which has been a mecca of international sport and even secondary school, I mean, as a mecca of intercol and secondary school football, it cannot host an adult match.
Yeah, but why make it smaller?
When we asked why, they said they moved the pavilion. So they put the pavilion in the wrong place, had to make the field smaller. They said the football people complained that the goalkeepers, the sun were in their eyes. Now you can't play football at all. So there's no issue of sun in your eyes. But everybody knows in football, the goalkeepers wear a cap if and when sun is in their eye, which will only be for 45 minutes or half of a match. So that was to me idiotic. And what is more important is that $147 million have gone, and they built really 2 pavilions with that money.
Yeah, and then to talk about the fact that it's now international standard. I mean, we've seen where big sponsors, big Fortune 500 companies are now partnering with cities to build stadiums, and these are mega stadiums. So when you say international
but you cannot play
standard,
international. In fact, they played a girls under 15 football match. 11 players started and 9 players had it reduced to 9 players by the end because 22 players cannot run on the field.
yeah, and yet still it costs us 147 million.
And counting, I keep saying the word and counting because every year and every finance bill that comes for what is called variation and appropriation, they're asking for more money to pay outstanding bills. So it's 147 million now, but that will go to 160, 170, 180 by the time we are finished.
Yeah, it really makes you wonder. Also on the Essequibo issue, I mean, you spoke about the Essequibo issue. Of course, as we have the Prime Minister who is scheduled to go in on Thursday for that meeting.
Which really is the ultimate act of hypocrisy, because Dr. Rowley accused the UNC's leader, of intervening and being out of place to speak of mediation and to speak of meeting bilaterally and so on. And here he is going to what is essentially a bilateral meeting between Venezuela and Guyana. So that is the ultimate act of hypocrisy, that he will go there.
But let me ask you this, Dr. Munir. As far as the treaty that was Article 9, that was updated, I believe, in December 31st, 2016, in the areas of cooperation, why is it that we're not discussing that?
Well, the government apparently don't know the treaty, the security treaty, and what is called the Regional Security System Agreement, but that binds our countries to defend each other, even with arms, when one's country is under the threat, when they are under threat of what is called their territorial integrity, meaning invasion and so on. But as I've said in my press conference, Dr. Rowley is weak on crime. He's weak. He has said absolutely nothing about home invasion in Trinidad and Tobago, which is a major issue. And what Maduro is doing there is really international home invasion. He's leaving his house and going into somebody else's house and invading. So that is international home invasion. And Dr. Rowley is silent on this matter because he's essentially weak on crime.
Yeah, I know you spoke about sometime as well of the British firm that was paid a lump sum of money and perhaps still waiting for it to be paid out, which was nothing more than a political witch hunt that is being funded by the taxpayers of this country.
The taxpayers have paid $45 million so far to a British private prosecution team to come down to Trinidad to ostensibly work to target former People's Partnership ministers, including myself. And they have paid $45 million plus. 8 years later, they have absolutely nothing to show for it. And I want to tell you one time, Mikey, that an incoming UNC government will investigate that. And we will call whoever had took decisions to pay $45 million to this British private prosecution team. We will call them to account, and we may even garnish their pension and gratuity to pay those bills.
Yeah. On a personal note, Dr. Munir, what basically motivates you? And we have a large regional audience in Guyana, Grenada, and so forth.
Well, I mean, let me say hello to all of our great friends and supporters in Grenada, in St. Kitts and Antigua, in Guyana, etc. I mean, I have enormous fans myself in those countries. I want to say good night to all of them.
Yes.
At my stage, Mikey, I've spent my entire adult life in public service. I have been a child of the United National Congress. You are motivated by service. You are motivated by, the intangible rewards of service. You're motivated that, God has ordained that your role on earth is really to help others and to ensure other people are happy, other people are well taken care of, other people have experience, opportunity, prosperity. I mean, I still have people who come to me, regularly to thank me for providing them with a home, a roof over their head. So you get that kind of satisfaction. And as I say, service is in my blood. So as a former leader said long time ago, I've come too far to turn back now.
Yeah, and I mean, you seem to be viewed as political enemy number one when it comes to the current administration. standing up there, I mean, debating, talking about the issues. It makes you wonder, those of us who are looking on as to, I mean, just how much can you endure? How broad is your back, I should say?
Well, I can carry this struggle on my not too slender shoulders. And as I've said before, God is great. He will never put a burden on your back that you can't carry. And I've had enormous support from friends and family and well-wishers, and I enjoy the love of a lot of people in my line of work. And just a few hours ago, I was in the company of constituents and so on. And when you feel their love and somebody come up to you and just shake your hand and say thank you for your service, thank you for doing the great job you're doing, you feel good, and that inspires you, and that allows me to carry on. And as I've said before, I mean, my journey continues, and as long as the people
will accept you, I guess. Are you there?
Oh.
Yeah. And final question, I mean, you have made it quite clear that the UNC has one political leader at this time, and you stand with that political leader.
I'm not hearing you, Mikey.
Can you hear me better now?
Yes, I'm hearing you better now.
Yeah, you've made it quite clear as well, even as in the capacity of deputy political leader, that the UNC has one political leader at this time, and you stand with the political leader.
Well, I'm very clear that we have one leader, one party, one vision. Mrs. Prasad Bisesa has given great leadership to the party and the country, and we support her 100%. She has enormous capacity for leadership, and her compassion is now legendary, and we support her, and we will work together as a team in our party to ensure that we remove this dictatorship and this devil called the PNM.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for taking time.
Thank you very much, Mikey, and all the best to your listeners in trying to be going across the Caribbean, the region, and the wider hemisphere.
Same
Good night,
to you
and
as
God
well.
bless you all.
Have a wonderful season and keep up the good work. Best of luck to you and your entire team. Thank you so much. Yeah. And of course, that was Orapooch East MP and UNC Shadow Minister of Housing, Works, Transport, and National Security. And, making it quite clear that, he's motivated by the fact of the people and the work that he does, and that says quite a lot. And many issues that we touched on, there have been quite, should I say, has not been really picked up by mainstream media. So again, it makes you wonder, as citizens, we seem to be asking for information time and time again. Let me say a pleasant good evening to Miss Karen Nunes Teixeira. Pleasant good evening, ma'am.
Good evening to you.
Thank you so much for taking time out to link with us here on The Observer. It's always a pleasure to have you on, of course, and it's always good to hear your voice. All the best for the season, of course. Last weekend, Hope, the new political party, led by the political leader, Timothy Hamill-Smith, was launched. And the new party, of course, plans to tackle crime as one of its priorities. And of course, many of us understand the situation here. The volume of it as far as crime. When you hear all these stories, and I was talking to Dr. Munilal earlier, people in their own yard working out, having some recreation, just laying back. And you have people jumping the wall and opening the gate as though they live there. And senior citizens who are now soft targets in our society and just being taken advantage of. Hope, what can we expect? I mean, because we hear a lot of talk about crime.
Well, I can give you, I think that's one of the main, in fact, I was speaking to my son who doesn't live here, lives abroad, and I was saying to him that I think the main reason that I feel confident that Hope is the right party is because all the things that you just itemize are symptoms of a problem. They are symptomatic of an issue. What you are not dealing with is what is the cause. It's as if you went to the doctor with a cold, but instead of him determining what is causing the cold, he then gives you 2 Panadol, tells you to go home, and tells you you'll get better. Of course, you won't get better. So what did Hope do? And that is why I'm very, very, very proud to be part of Hope. This is one of the things that persuaded me that they meant business. we know when Dana Sitahal died, in fact, but she was extremely, extremely close to my entire family. We don't go into that. But what I will say, that when she died, Mr. Brownfield, who at the time was the United States, I think he was the combating illicit drugs. That was his portfolio. He said very clearly, I don't have the quotation in front of me, but he said very clearly that Dana Sitahal's murder was a result of an international drug organization operating in Trinidad and Tobago. The level of sophistication that was required to carry out what was a contract killing required that to be an organized crime. And I do not know that either any party, they talk about education, they talk about the fact that people's lack of values and all the poverty, single family homes, they talk about all those things which are contributing factors. There's no question about that. What that does is makes you more vulnerable. Do you realize that you hardly hear about that in Toco, Point Fortin? Even Tobago has now started.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is in the rural communities, you hardly hear about crime. You know the cost of one, it was in the Guardian newspaper. They told you that a gun costs something like $9,000 to $15,000. Who of those persons who you see those TikTok videos can afford a gun for $15,000? And Timothy Hammersmith made no bones about it. When we launched the party on Saturday, he made it very, very clear, and he is speaking the truth, and the country knows that he is speaking the truth. I was in the cabinet, and I'm going to get myself in trouble, but I'm just going to say this, that what he said is this. He says that where are the drugs and the guns coming from? It's coming from outside. It's coming up from a mafia outside the cabinet. Where are the contracts that have been are granted? It's coming from contracts outside of the mafia. This is what he says, that he has no other reason to believe that is what is happening in Trinidad and Tobago.
And let me ask you this, Mr. Chair. All good and well, and a lot of these things that we talk about as far as policies and what have you, they look good on paper. But that public perception, and I think that has any politician or political party looked at this perception as average citizens would believe that, listen, there's a big fish. We don't think it's mythical. We don't think it's a fragment of our imagination.
Okay, so I'm going to answer very quickly. And you should have asked me what were the solutions.
Right.
The solution obviously is that, and he has talked about the ship rider agreement. You know that there's impacts, for which we are a member. There are 12 members. The center is in the garrison in Barbados. They just got, I think it's 15,000 kilograms of cocaine, and they caught a number of the persons involved. I think, it would be, I don't think you're being realistic. I've been in politics long enough, I think. I don't think you're being realistic to say that you're going to go after the big fish. Because if the PR, and I don't mean any offense to anybody that was involved in the PRCO International issue or any other person whose names have been called, the fact of the matter is I don't think many of them have spent more than a week in jail, if that much, and certainly they have not been convicted for their crimes, and that is over 20 years. So what you do is you disrupt the trade. What you do is you make Trinidad and Tobago, which is we don't grow cocaine in this country. We do not manufacture guns in this country. We transship it. So what you have to do is disrupt the trade. How do you do it? Make it such that it makes no sense to come through Trinidad and Tobago, whether it's coming from Colombia or Venezuela or wherever it is coming from, because those are the two main countries that have been identified. Disrupt the trade so that now, instead of having scanners that do not work, make sure you have scanners that can check out. The political leader said they can scan 150 scanners in 1 hour. Not only do you make sure that we buy them, but we manage them and we make sure they work. We have drones, and we work with the United States. We work with Interpol. We are only 1.4 million people. The way to deal with it is to disrupt the drug trade. And once you disrupt the drug trade, whoever is behind it, from wherever it is in Latin America, they are going to find another route because they're going to say they're losing too much product. When they're losing too much product, they're going to decide we have to go elsewhere to carry out our trade. As simple as that.
And I understand that. And I say that makes a lot of sense, because once you hit them where it hurts the most, where as far as their profits, they will try to find alternative routes.
And they did, by the way, because in fact, I could just tell you on that matter, if you can go and look it up yourself, United States Narcotics, I can't remember the exact acronym, but what they said is that why they started using the Caribbean as a transshipment point is because they were successful in stopping the shipment of drugs through the Central America. They call it they use a terminology which I can't remember, but in other words, they were effective to the land to stop the drugs coming through. So we cannot do it alone. And what I am saying to you, the kind of drugs and guns, 80% of the murders are committed with unlicensed guns.
Yes, that's right.
We have over 1,000 gangs. Do you think the gangs come together to sing Kumbaya? The police tell you that they are involved in drugs and guns. So if drugs and guns are the main business, I'm not saying there are not other corollaries. There are other corollaries. And I am not also saying that poverty, all those things can make you more vulnerable and easier to recruit. But if 30 years ago, in those same communities, they had dude with more unemployment, less education, single parents, all the factors that you say are causing this today, why did you not hear about that in those days, except our dog bite? You know why?
Yeah.
Because the drugs and guns, whoever are controlling it, are outside of the community. And if we, in hope, that hope is serious. Hope is serious. The thing we are going to pass, and we have made the commitment to this. We have made the commitment. We are going to pass the law that deals with financing.
And you're saying that hope has that will, has that political will to actually put these things in place.
Because you know what, 100%. You know what? Also, we are going to pass is that law that deals with you financing campaign. The legislation is there.
All right.
It has to be
but 1 second. Let me just take a pin here, because I don't want to lose train here. In the speech by your party general secretary, I believe it's Melissa Ragunanan Neamat, which I thought was very interesting. She says that the party also intends to make changes that will allow the president to be elected, have a fixed election date, salary cuts for members of parliament as deemed appropriate, and for the prime minister to serve a limit of 2 terms. Now, this is great. This is great.
All right.
But again,
let me answer you very quickly on that.
Okay, go ahead.
Clearly, that will require a longer period of time, because constitutional reform, you need a certain level majority. But there are things that we can do immediately, and Hope has a 180-day plan. You cannot tell me that we cannot hire more staff for the DPP. You cannot tell me that under the DPP's office, which is constitutionally protected, I think by either section 111 or 112 of our constitution, that you cannot set up with under the DPP a special division dealing with white-collar crime, bring in a special prosecutor. I taught at the law school. There are hundreds of lawyers. This young lawyer who spoke on the Annalisa said there are lawyers who are driving taxis because they can't get jobs. You cannot tell me that we do not have the capacity to train these young people in money laundering and white-collar crime, set up a special unit working together. As they do in England, there's a special unit where they combine the investigative and the prosecutorial together. We can do that without having to pass a law, because it will come under the auspices of the DPP, who under the Constitution, politicians cannot intervene. I don't know if you remember with Jeffrey Henderson and a former Attorney General, when Jeffrey Henderson had to write a former Attorney General and tell him, sir, I take no instructions from you. I am constitutionally protected. So in 180 days, there's a lot that we can pass that legislation that requires the for campaign financing. There we can meet and work with Interpol, with impact in a way that our government has failed to do. Those are things that do not require the kinds of things that Melissa did speak about. But you see, God, those will happen. You know why it will happen? Because once the people have faith and confidence that you are not only talking each other, but you're walking. Every single one of us, why have we put ourselves on that front line? Why has Timothy Hammersmith done that? There's no reason for him to do that.
And there's a love for country, and that's fine.
And not only love, you can't just love the country, you know. You can love the country, but there are two other things that absolutely necessary. You need to be results focused. You need to have. If I am going to interview you for a job, and you cannot show me what you achieved during your term, whatever period of time that you have been in the workforce. If you cannot show me that, and you just talk hot air, not only to have all of us, regardless of what one wants to say. We did not get a run on Republic Bank. We did not get a run on CLICO. There were many countries in this world that had to run to the IMF. With the global financial crisis, Trinidad and Tobago was not one of them.
And let me ask you this, because I know the
last point is,
go ahead quickly.
I have to say quickly, and we all have a background in spirituality and community service. You may not know this. I have a foundation. I don't like to speak about it.
Yes, I know about your foundation, yes. And good work. I must say, hats off to you and your foundation.
And I was waiting until Gulvey Medical, who has not paid me one black cent, to rename it in my husband's name. In my husband's name. Timothy Hammersmith does tremendous amount of work through the Living Waters community. Louis Lee Singh also. All of us have a history of community service, and we are all results focused, and we are going to walk the walk, and that's what they're scared of.
And let me ask you this. I know there would be some fear. You're right. There are people who are going to be afraid of this.
The government's scared of us. I'm telling you, the government's scared of us.
But let me ask you this. Now, all that you have said, and really and truly, it's all about a better Trinidad and Tobago. But correct. None of it can become a reality unless you're in there to implement these changes. And so it brings me to the point where you have people who would weigh in. Now, what do you tell them when they weigh in and say, listen, Karen and her team don't have reserve positions in either the PNM or the UNC, and so they decided to simply set up something with the hope that they get into a position into one of these parties. Now, please answer me that.
I'm answering the question simply.
Good.
It's clearly we don't have much time to go into it. I made this. If Mr. Manning was there, I wasn't going to leave the PNM, okay? Because I wasn't going to leave. What has happened to the PNM? We're not going into it. But I just have to know that I am not a good fit. I could not stay in good conscience. I could not be there. Timothy Hammersmith can answer for himself for the UNC because he was part of that. And so can the other deputy political leader, Louis Lee Singh. We all have a level of disenchantment. We all believe in Trinidad and Tobago first. I am not prepared to put a party in front of my country. Timothy Hammersmith is not prepared to put a party in front of his country. Neither is Louis Lee Singh, and neither is Steve Alvarez. So we all have a proven track record. Don't ever forget that. We have all proven ourselves, and we are forced to be reckoned with, and they know it. They know it. I have sat in Parliament, and we don't have to go through all of that. The point about it is that all of us together and we expect the people, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, who say you want change. That's what they did a survey. Every major media house did it, and 100% was the result that people want change. We can get change, but we depend on you to believe in us.
And if the people, and as we've always been told, that the voice of the people is the voice of God, and if the voice,
sure about that one, eh?
You're not sure about that one, okay?
People say that, and you know, sometimes people say, "But why they went and killed Jesus?" So
yeah, I understand
that.
But if the voices are saying, "Listen, we need you in there.
Yes.
You need to unite. You need to implement all of these policies. You need to save Trinidad and Tobago." Will they be simply talking to deaf ears, or people who that will more than willing to make that a reality?
But if it is going to put food on your table, if it is going to make sure that your grandchild has a better opportunity for a better job, to become an entrepreneur, to earn a decent living, to have a sense of self-worth, if you're going to feel that my children could go out, or my grandchildren could go out at 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night like they could be in the United States, and not be frightened that somebody going to be holding them up. If I could feel that the economy is doing well, that we are not only dependent on energy, but we're doing like Dubai, we're doing like Mauritius, we're doing like Singapore, we're doing like Jamaica. We understand we have to diversify, because we are capable, we have the capacity, because we have spent a lot of money, and I have to give a lot to Mr. Manning. I'm sorry, that's how I feel. Mr. Manning really was the one who drove that knowledge economy and did a lot in terms of educating us at a tertiary level, not only in academics, but in the vocational. We had a TTIFC that was, we had Lehman Brothers sign an MOU with us. We had a gentleman who had set up the Irish International Financial Center, working right in my office, drafting the legislation for the IFC. I visited Dubai twice using that model. So there's no question in my mind that given the chance, every Trinidadian and Tobagonian will be empowered, will be given the opportunity to realize his dream, and it will not be a case where a few people who have and this is the hard part, and this is the truthful part. I can't say too much, I don't want to get in trouble.
All right.
But let me just say this.
Quickly, go ahead.
Those who are benefiting the most, there's something called a Gini coefficient. When you try, which is from this Italian guy, and what he does is you look at the spread of the income in your country. They won't publish that since 1990. How can it be right, as people believe, that there are few people in this country that are probably enjoying about 70% of the wealth of this country, while the rest, the CPEP and URP, cannot buy a parrot on a stick? How could that ever be right? And we at Hope will make sure that comes to an end.
And I agree with you. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. I will call you again sometime in the very near future. Do have a wonderful season,
and you too,
a bright year, and it's
you.
been a pleasure. Thank you so much, Karen.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you. All right.
Bye. Bye-bye. Take care. Bye-bye.
Yeah, folks, so we're going to try to get our good friend on, because I know there's a lot of things that are happening in the scrap iron industry. A lot. I tell you, look out in 2024. And our good friend Alan Ferguson. So that was Karen Nunes Teixeira, Deputy Political Leader of Hope. And of course, for those of you who may not know, Hope stands for honesty, opportunity, performance, and empowerment. Quite interesting. So, let's see. Hey, a pleasant good evening, my good friend. I do apologize for calling you at this hour, but we were a bit backed up. But I think it's only fair that the citizens of this blessed country hear about the big plans for the Scrap Iron Dealers Association for 2024 and beyond. Pleasant good evening to you, Mr. Ferguson.
Pleasant good evening to you and your viewers, man. It's a wonderful time to be here with you tonight. You know, my strongest feeling is that this program for next year will grow to be one of the #1 programs in Trinidad and Tobago.
Thank you so much. The floor is yours, because I know you had a rough year. And tell us, as we come to a close, ushering a brand new year, what can we expect from the industry that so many people depend on?
Well, all I can say, I will, as the president, I will continue pushing to try to make this industry a better industry for people who depend on it each and every day. We know that this is the only industry remain that the poor people could come in and get something. People who, people are jail because of mistake or some kind of thing that we pull them and try to make changes into their life. A lot of poor people from all different parts of this country work with us, and we work with them to make things better for them. So I as the president, all I want to do is to make this industry better, and I ask the Ministry of Trade to work with us next year to make things better for this industry. We know that things went on and it had us a shutdown for more than 7-8 months, but what I can say is that we want to work with you all, the Ministry of Trade, to push this industry more than what we're doing now, because we know this industry could do plenty better than what it could do. And as we as the association, all we want to do is to try to work with Trinidad and Tobago to make this Trinidad and Tobago much safer. And that's why we're going around with our crime talk. We will continue going around with crime on different tongues and talking about crime and trying to make our things much better for this country. We will also go to the communities, work with the communities, work with all the different people in the communities to make this crime go down for Trinidad and Tobago. We will also go to the schools and different organizations. We will try to get the private sector involved, that we could get help to able to do what we want to try to bring down this crime in Trinidad and Tobago. This time is a time that all hands must come on deck. We want to work. We don't matter if you is red or you is yellow or you is blue, whatever you is, long as you want to work with us to help Trinidad and Tobago to make sure that this crime goes down. We ready to work with anybody to make sure this crime go down in Trinidad and Tobago.
And tell me, Mr. Ferguson, I know you're not just talking about within the boundaries of Trinidad and Tobago, but there are some business ideas and things on the agenda regionally and internationally as well.
Yeah, well, what I can say, since this year, we had a lot of opportunities. I had the opportunity to speak with advisor to King, which I don't want to mention, but we have things that we have to discuss more with them to able to think. I also was invited to England, to the Ministry of Trade in England. They invite me, and I couldn't make it, but I had a meeting virtual with them, and I plans to do different things with different scrap mills in England. We also had meetings with large people in different organizations all over the world. I have plans to probably move out, go to a visit to some of these countries to the end of the year, to come into the new year. I have plans to do all these things, but there's a lot of opportunities for us in the scrap industry, because I'm trying to open up a way, because you see, too much time that we have to depend on the middlemen to able to do our own business, and this is one of the things that I want to move away from the middlemen and go directly to the mills, and a lot of opportunities for investors to come in and invest and make sure that they do a lot of things happen to them in reference to making money. I also plan to launch and start our ship breaking project. I also thank the government, because one of the things that we had get is that we asked for land, and we did get the land. It's just a matter now for the investment to put up the port and put different things in place to make sure that all what we want to go on for the next new year, because I could tell you this year was a challenging year. I nearly lost all my business because I had was to give and give out to all the poor people, because you know the thing about it, when you're a leader and you want to help, sometimes you forget that you have to sell to make money, and all you want to do is to help the poor, help the people, and that is what I was doing. But God is good, and I thank my God for keeping me alive and keeping me strong. And people like yourself, I want to thank you, because you know no matter what, you always give me the opportunity to let Trinidad and Tobago know. So I want to thank you and all too, and thank the people at the station, and thank all the media. I will have a closing comment that I will address the nation next week, where we have to say something in reference to how the industry going and how things going. But I want to thank you, and I ask God to bless you and your family, keep your program strong, keep you strong, and keep the whole station and everybody strong, so we could go along, because indeed. Without we, you know how it is.
Yeah. Well, thanks a lot, Mr. Ferguson. And I know as well that you're planning an investors forum, so we'll talk more about that coming into the new future. So those of you into the new year, so those of you who are interested, a lot of economic.
I want to tell Trinidad for the new year, we also plan to bring Mike Tyson to Trinidad to help us to go to the communities. You all will know when that date comes. We start the conversation, so we hope that we will bring Mike Tyson to go to the different communities, the Laventail, the Beaton, the Sealer. Let us talk with them and let them see that there's a guy like yourself, make it big in the world like yourself.
Yeah.
So we want to try to raise the value in life and show them that, listen to me, crime is not the issue alone. We could do a lot of things. When we came here as slaves, we worked hard to build this country, so we could change.
Thank you. Mr. Ferguson, it's been a pleasure. Keep up the good work. Best of luck to you and your entire team, and we looking forward for Mr. Mike Tyson, former heavyweight champion, to arrive soon in Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you so much, and best of luck.
Man, thank you too.
Thank you. Hey folks, that brings us to the end of the program. Let me just say, don't forget, our bodies are under stress for environmental toxins, so please pick up your bottle of Omega XL. Health benefits of many fatty acids, including omega-3s. Azina Smith, Bisnath Prasad, Roy Lachman, Great Caesar, Rick Grimes, Sita Jaku, Peter Dendial from Florida, Marvin Morgan, Sheldon Citran, Gregory Childs, Jerome Moses, Patricia Hutchinson, D.V. Parai, and Yolanda Cordner. Have a good evening. Until tomorrow, we'll be right back, right here, God willing, in the Gael for more of The Observer. Take care and have a good one.